Good morning, beautiful people. This is Marie Alessi. Today, I'd like to share a story with you that happened last week when I worked with my supervision coach. And I told her something that came up for me that was triggered really deeply within me last weekend. And I was already in a very vulnerable space anyway. And then a story triggered me so deeply, and it triggered me on a level that I didn't think I could be triggered anymore. So um, I sat with that emotion and I talked to a really close friend about it, and what came out was that defiant teenager. I literally sat there and I felt this absolute emotion of defiant coming up. I was sitting like with my arms crossed and bottom lip came up, and I just didn't want to talk about it. I didn't want to work on it. I didn't want to look at it again. I said, I've done this so many times. I am done with it. I don't want to look at it. I'm not ready to look at anything or heal anything, which was incredible for me because I am usually the person, when something comes up for me, I embrace it with open arms. I look at everything that triggers me as an opportunity to heal something. And because I look at it as an opportunity, I embrace it with open arms. I really welcome it, and I allow the emotion to come up. I allow the emotion to uh, give me a lesson and to sit with it, to heal it, to acknowledge it. And none of that happened. None of that happened. I was really cranky, defiant, didn't want to have a bar of it. So when I shared this with Sonia, my beautiful supervision coach, I talked about it and I was almost ashamed that I was so defiant and I didn't want to have a bar of anything and didn't want to go into healing. And I was like, telling her the whole story and what came up. And I was really like just cranky. And she looked at me and she listened to me very patiently to the entire story. And then she said to me, I like her. And I'm like, what do you mean? I expected her to say, come on, let's see how we can go into healing. Let's see how we can open your heart space. Let's see how we can embrace that. And she's like, I like her. And I'm like, what do you like about her? She's like, she sets boundaries that you don't set. She knows exactly what she needs and what she doesn't need. And I thought, oh my God, this is incredible. I never looked at her like that. So the story went on and we went into a little bit of deeper discovery, I should say. And I said, there's another one that came up for me that I haven't been called in a while, and that was the perfectionist. I don't like her. I associate being a perfectionist with being boring, being a smartass, being a know-it-all, and I really don't like any of those things. I really don't like the perfectionist within me, and all of a sudden I thought, why not? She has got qualities that you can really use for staying organized in your business, staying on top of things in your household, and trusting a particular structure. And for me, it's all about balance anyway. It's like if you're only ever in one way, then there is something out of balance. But if you have the structured one, the organized one, the perfectionist, help you balance the chaos, the creativity, and all of that, it really gives you a nice balance. So as you can imagine where this is heading, it was all about embracing all of me, embracing all these parts within me. And I literally went through all the roles that I have played, because the biggest one that came up for me was like, I am not the chosen one. And this is a really incredible story because this one has come up for me over and over and over again. And I, through many years of therapy and working on my childhood, I realized it came from being the only child born into my family. My parents adopted 4 siblings for me, so it was not for me, for them, for us, for a family. And there were 2 older sisters and 2 older brothers. And I was the first one born into the family, yet in numbers, I was the 4th one to come into the family. So my second oldest brother, my two sisters came before me, then I was born, and then my eldest brother was adopted. He was 11 when he came into our family. There's a really interesting dynamic that has come into my family, that was brought into my family, and interesting is probably the nicest way of putting it. It was an interesting childhood. Let's stay with that word because I really don't want to go into negativity. And it has taught me a lot, yet it left me with that feeling I am not the chosen one. And it left me with an underlying, well, if I was that awesome, why did you adopt 4 more kids into the family? I must have not fulfilled your needs, or I must have not been good enough, beautiful, smart enough, whatever enough for you. I was not enough for you. And this is a belief that I grew up with in my childhood, never realizing till way, way later, till years into therapy, did I realize that I grew up with this belief that I am not enough. But why else would they adopt 4 other kids into the family if I was enough? So that is something completely different. Yet what I didn't realize is that this I am not the chosen one, you don't choose me, kept coming up for me. And it kept coming up for me in relationships, and it kept coming up with relationships that did and didn't work. And when I look back now at my marriage with Rob, I truly felt that I was the chosen one. Not just the chosen one, but he admired me, he adored me, he celebrated me, he embraced all of me. The divine one, the unwanted one, the divine feminine, all of me. He embraced and loved all of me. And this was something that that picked me up from such a deep rooted level of feeling I'm not the chosen one, and put me on this pedestal that Rob had left me on for the rest of his life. And I'm just realizing I didn't realize how deep this would go when I share this with you, but I'm fully okay with that. So basically, this I am not the chosen one has come up with me again after Rob passed, and I had not realized that it wasn't completely healed. It was so taken care of when I was with Rob that it had no space in my life, that it wasn't needed, that it wasn't filled at all, ever, not once in the entire relationship with Rob. Yet it came back up again afterwards. And that's when I realized that there were parts within me and stories from my past that kept coming back to haunt me. And then I realized they didn't come back to haunt me. They came back for me to embrace them. So coming back to this beautiful session I had with Sonia, in the supervision session I did with her, I realized when we went into meditation, we did a really beautiful meditation around embracing all parts of me, all of them, the divine feminine, the unwanted child, or the child that wasn't enough, the child that grew up thinking I'm not the chosen one, the defiant teenager, the mama bear, the flight attendant within me, the account director when I worked in advertising, the perfectionist. All of these parts came back up, and what happened was I was in this meditation and I had this most amazing vision of all of these parts of me coming together, and it was like we were in a village. And then there was this beautiful song. I love this song. I always come back to this song, and I always call it tribal stomping. When I hear this song, all I want to do is some tribal stomping, and you actually see that in the video as well. So this song is by Shakira. It's called Waka Waka. Absolutely amazing. I will put it in the comments below so you can actually listen to it and maybe do some tribal stomping yourself. And I had this vision of so many people coming together in one village, and it was like a family reunion, like a celebration of long lost family members that all came together in this village, and there was trouble stomping and there was dust everywhere from all these people dancing, and the music was playing, and it was so joyful, and they were all hugging each other and they were all embracing each other and dancing together, and it was like a long lost family reunion. And I realized that this long lost family reunion were all parts within me. Some of the parts that I really loved and that are easy to accept and love and celebrate, and other parts that are not so easy to embrace and love and celebrate. So I realized that all of these parts make the entire me, and I wouldn't be me without all of these parts. And those people who love and accept me for who I am love and accept all these parts of me, and those who don't are not in my life anymore. So I just really felt so much healing, yet even more so, so much peace and love within that. You know, ever since I've done this, I felt that things have shifted around me. I feel more centered. I feel whole. I literally feel whole again, and it is an ongoing process. It was the opening of my heart space to allow all of these parts to come in, to embrace them, to hug them, to love them, and to give them a home again. And this is where they belong, you know, right here, right with me, right in my heart. And when they're all together, that's when I feel whole. I really hope that this is helpful for you. I hope that this will trigger you to look at all the parts within you, those that are easy to embrace, those that are easy to love. And yeah, maybe you can have your own family celebration, your own homecoming celebration, and play whatever music works for you. And whether that be trouble stomping in the village, whether that will be some ballroom dancing or square dancing or waltzing, whatever it is that you need to celebrate and bring them all together, I'd love to hear from you. I would really love it if you could share your story with me, what you did to embrace them all, to invite them all back into your heart, and how you celebrated that. I'm sending you so much love. Have fun at the family reunion, and don't forget to let me know about it. This is Marie signing off. Bye for now.